So I can't go to my best friend's wedding. I don't have the money. You might think that I'm being a little bit absurd, but it's a destination wedding. It's all the way in Ecuador. I can't even afford my rent. How can I afford to pay for a plane ticket, housing, and who knows what else is going to cost? Well, now I have to break the news to my friend, and she's a bit of a bridezilla, so here goes nothing. I, 29 female, won't be able to attend my best friend's destination wedding due to money problems. And she's super mad about it. My best friend and I have known each other since we were in diapers, and we've always promised each other that we would be the other's maid of honor. We've stayed close over the years despite going to different colleges and living in different cities. I still consider her my best friend, and even though we've only seen each other every few months, we talk on the phone almost every day. She's been dating her fiancé for 5 years now, so I was really happy for her when he finally proposed, as she's always just been waiting ever since the 3rd year together. Well, we were very excited about starting planning of the wedding together, and immediately after she said yes, I was the first person she called, even before her own mother. The problem is, my best friend's fiancé is from Ecuador, and he wants to have the wedding there. All of his family still live there in a pretty poor village, so he doesn't want to have to ask them to fly out of the States for his wedding. My best friend agreed that his family should be there, and decided to make the whole thing a destination wedding. I was pretty surprised, to be honest. A girl we went to school with had a destination wedding a few years ago, and both of us were pretty judgmental about it. So I never thought that she would end up with that kind of thing, to be completely honest with you. I wasn't against it or anything like that, just surprised that it was what she wanted, you know? Obviously, I didn't say anything. It's her wedding, and it's my job as the maid of honor to support her through this, not question her decisions. The wedding is in 2 months, and I've just had some financial problems. My company downsized and I was out of a job, and then my car broke down, so I had to spend all my savings on a new one. I haven't bought my plane ticket or booked a hotel in Ecuador yet, as I've been counting on paying with my yearly bonus. Even the redundancy pay wasn't enough, as they're having the wedding in July, which is the most expensive time to travel to Ecuador. I have not broached the subject with my best friend yet, because I don't know how she's going to react. I'll let you guys know, I've looked at this from every angle. I've considered cutting down on groceries, I've googled local bus routes, prices, and every way possible to save money. I've done a crap ton of research on this, and none of these waves leave me with enough to fly out. It's all just petty cash. My mom offered to pay for me because I was complaining to her just a few days ago. But I can't accept that. My mother's living on a tiny pension. She can't afford it any more than I can. It was kind of her to offer, but it was an empty offer and we both know it. She would have, well, to go without electricity for 2 months or so just to pay for these flights. I'm terrified of what my best friend's reaction's going to be. Everything's pretty much set in stone. She paid for my maid of honor to dress herself, and it's been tailored to me. I'm in the wedding. I don't know how many of you people have much experience with wedding planning, but 2 months before the wedding is far too late to make such a big change. She's been super stressed recently with all the logistics of everything, and I don't want to pile on top of that. Originally, they were going to hire a wedding planner, but once the wedding was changed to be in Ecuador, they had to spend the money on hotel budgets for her fiancé's family members. They could barely even afford the transport to the hotel, so he offered to pay. My best friend did not mind this at first, but I can tell that the stress of the planning is really getting to her. The last time we had lunch together, she looked like she hadn't slept in weeks, and she kept texting the entire time we were together. I asked her what was up, and she said that she was texting the different vendors to make sure that everything was ready. This was a month ago. meaning the wedding was in 3 months and she was already practically frothing at the mouth from stress. I don't want to pile this on her. She has so much going on and she's been arguing with her fiance. Nothing serious, just normal wedding jitters, as far as I can see. But it's another thing that added to her stress. I just cannot afford to be there. I barely have enough money to pay my rent right now. I'm lucky that my apartment is rent controlled and I have enough roommates to make the bills easier. The thing is, and I say this with absolutely no judgment, I love my best friend, but she can be pretty nasty when things don't go her way. It's not something that really gets in the way of our friendship. We agree on most things, but it's something that I'm weary of, especially right now. There are pretty much 2 ways that this can go, and I'm not super psyched about either of them. Number 1, she'll be super understanding and offer to pay for my ticket. I don't want this because she already has so much on her plate. The wedding is already way over budget, and I can't in good conscience have her spend that much money on me, no matter what. Number 2, she'll flip out, call me a bad friend, choose someone else to be her maid of honor, probably her sister. This option is bad because that girl can hold a grudge like nobody else. Someone stole her crayons in kindergarten, and she still hates that person to this day. If I let her down on the most important day of her life, she'll probably never forgive me until the day she dies. Neither of these options sound very good, do they? Both of them just end up with me losing my best friend forever. Because make no mistake, if she offered to pay for my ticket and I said no, it would be a huge insult to her. She hates when people throw her generosity back in her face. She once offered to share her lunch with me in high school because I forgot mine at home, and when I said no, she would not talk to me for a week. I need to make it clear that I love my best friend, and I want her to be happy no matter what. I know I'm talking about a lot here, with her negative qualities on here and whatnot, but I really do love her. She's a good person and no one's perfect. When you're friends with someone for over 15 years the way that we've been, you know about someone's bad qualities, and you love them anyways, no matter what. I'd really appreciate some advice here. Not advice on how to scrounge up enough money to be able to go. That's completely off the table at this point. But advice on how to broach the subject in the least insulting way possible. If anyone's ever had a conflicting resolution tips for when she inevitably blows up on me, that would be useful too. Thanks. Update number 1. So, guys, welcome back. She went with option 2. She didn't even offer to pay for me to go. In one way, I'm kind of relieved. I don't know how I would have gone about telling her that I appreciated her offer, but the answer was still no. On the other hand, it hurts that she didn't even try to understand where I was coming from. It's like she went from 1 to 100 in 3 seconds. We were having a lovely coffee date. She was updating me on how everything was going. I probably should have told her as soon as I got there, but hey, I was nervous. I think she could tell that I needed to say something, because she started giving me the look that she does when she's trying to figure something out. Eventually, she told me, just spit it out. Whatever I had to say it. So I did, and it did not go well. I asked her to just hear me out, not talk until I was done, and, well, to her credit, she let me talk. I laid it all on the table. I talked about how I lost my job, how my car had crapped out on me, how I was barely able to make rent, and that I was spending all my energy on finding a new job. I said that I was so sorry and that it broke my heart, but I would not be able to go to her wedding. I just couldn't afford it, it was that simple. And I hoped that she would understand. She did not. One thing about my best friend is that when she's mad, she'll blow up and start yelling, but when she's furious, she just goes quiet. As soon as I saw her sucking her teeth, I knew I was done for. There was simply no hope left for me, and all the awful silence after it was done, I asked her to say something, and you know what she said? She asked how could I afford this coffee date if I was broke? Well, the thing is, we take in turns to pay, and this was her turn. She seemed even angrier when I said that. So she asked how I could afford the gas to drive here, and I told her that I needed gas in my car to drive to job interviews, and the cafe was just close by. I was annoyed at this point that she was nitpicking everything. She said that I did not look like I've been starving, and that I could clearly afford lots of food based on my look. This was an awful thing to say in a lot of different ways, and I'll explain them now. Firstly, I've always struggled with my weight. I have thyroid issues as well as PCOS, so it's almost impossible for me to lose weight, no matter how healthy I eat, and she knows that I eat darn healthy, and I exercise all the time. I was teased really badly for my weight all throughout high school, and she always defended me and told me that I was beautiful. I even offered to pay for my own maid of honor dresses at the wedding, because I was worried that the cost of fabric would just be too much. That was before I lost my job. Of course, she told me not to be ridiculous, that she would not have me any other way. Well, that's the first reason this was one of the nastiest things she could say. She knows that my weight is something that I'm very sensitive about, and as the first sign of my not doing what she wanted, she used it as a weapon against me. Through all of these years of friendship, she has always reassured me that I'm beautiful. Even when we had bad fights as a teenager, she never resorted to tactics like this. It hurts that she would go this low. The second reason this was a nasty thing to say is, does she expect me to go without food just so I can pay for a flight to Ecuador? Does she expect me to live on a peanut butter and jelly sandwich diet for 2 months just for her? That's so ridiculous, and a completely selfish thing to ever expect. Her wedding is important to me. She's important to me. But I'm afraid I am not about to starve myself just so that I can be her maid of honor. I reacted as calmly as I could given the circumstances, or at least I hoped that I did. I told her that that was a really nasty thing to say, and I hoped that she did not mean it. I said that I was sorry and that I would do anything to be able to go to her wedding, but I just couldn't afford it. I said that she means the world to me, and it broke my heart not to be able to see her on her big day. But that it just wasn't possible, and I hoped that she could understand. I don't even know how I managed to stay so calm, because I was nearly crying. There were tears in my eyes over what she said about the food. I could hear this buzzing in my ears like a swarm of angry bees. And I knew that if I did not get out of there soon, I was either going to burst into tears or slap her right then and there. Well, she simply did not understand. She didn't even try to. She just rolled her eyes at me and said that I was being selfish. She said that if I had not spent all that money on a new car, then I would be able to come, and said that I'd always been bad with money. Mind you, my car literally broke down in the middle of the highway, and I was nearly run over trying to get to a phone since mine died. The car I ended up buying was the cheapest one I could literally find. Then she had the audacity to tell me that I should pick up shifts at McDonald's if I was strapped for cash, and that having no money was no excuse to miss the most important day of her life. I was absolutely left speechless. She wanted me to flip burgers for a living just so that I could come to an overglorified party. She wanted me to spend my time working at McDonald's instead of looking for another job, a job that I'm qualified for. I was pretty much disgusted. I wanted to tell her how selfish that she was being, but to be honest, I don't think that she would have got it. She's never been good at looking at things from other people's perspectives. I just thought that she did not see me as other people after being friends for this long, that she would simply understand. I did not bother saying anything, though. I just left the cafe and went to my next job interview. I think my bad mood might have ruined my chances of getting that job though. I nearly snapped at the interviewer when he asked how I was. I didn't even get through to the second round of interviews. They told me right there that I did not get the job. I'm just so disgusted at the pure selfishness that she displayed, I can barely breathe. Update number 2. You guys will not believe what this girl's done. It's been about a month since our big argument in the cafe, and I was hoping that things would have calmed down by now, but they really haven't at all. At first, it really did seem like everything was going to be alright between us. Even though I was still pretty mad at her, she sent me a text and apologized for being so insensitive, and I forgave her. So here I was thinking that everything was back to normal. But then, she decided to offer to pay me just to go to the wedding. Now, I already told you guys that I would say no if she offered, that I just wasn't comfortable with the idea of her paying my way. So that's what I said, a polite no thank you. I explained that I knew she had enough on her plate, that the wedding was already super expensive, and I could not in any good conscience expect her to spend more money on me. I don't know why I thought this would be good and just go down well. I guess I thought that she'd be appreciative of the fact that I was looking out for her financially, and that I was being a good friend, but obviously that's not how things went. This conversation was on the phone, and as soon as I explained that I could not allow her to do that for me, she just hung up. Didn't even yell at me. Nothing. I think I told you guys before that when it comes to her, silence is a bad sign, so I knew that this fight was far from over. I did not expect her to take things as far as she has, though. I was feeling crappy enough that my best friend was mad at me. But one day, when I was scrolling through social media, I came across a post that she had put up a few days before. I'm not very active on Facebook or social media. I just scroll through once in a while when I get bored, so I hadn't noticed before, but I was super upset when I first saw it. I'll copy and paste the post below so that you guys can read it in all its glory, without me paraphrasing or anything. Hello, friends and family. I want to announce that I have a dress for sale. It's an extra large. It was originally going to be the dress of my maid of honor for my upcoming wedding, but the person has decided that she doesn't value our friendship enough to even bother coming. Seeing as this dress is large, please bear in mind that it can be taken in. So, anyone smaller than an extra large will be able to wear this dress after a few alterations. It breaks my heart to be selling this dress, but I guess that you can't trust some people as far as you can throw them, which is especially difficult in this case. In other news, I've decided to make my beautiful fiancé sister my maid of honor at the wedding. She's been with me through thick and thin, and has been especially comforting this past month, when I've been going through the worst time of my life. Edit. Thank you to everyone who's reached out to me and asked if I'm okay. I'm doing a lot better now that I know who my true friends are. Excited to see all of you at the wedding, with just one more month to go. God bless. Yeah, I know guys, there's a lot to unpack in that post. So, as you can probably tell, before I get into it, I need to tell you guys, I have not edited this post in any way. This is the exact post, word for word. I copied it right in with 0 edits. The first thing I wanted to say is that the dress is not an extra large, as she put it. I'm between a medium and a large. She just added that specifically to hurt me. It's obvious that the post was put up for me to see, though I doubt that she's not enjoying the attention. There's over 200 comments, full of people giving her support, and she's replying to every single one, acting like butter would not melt. This is the second time she's used my weight against me. The way she capitalized thick and thin is genuinely disgusting, and there's no doubt in my mind about what she meant to do there. She's using every weapon that she has and launching them all at me at once. She just wants to hurt me. Secondly, Making her fiance's sister the new maid of honor is a complete joke. I've been her best friend throughout the entire time she's been dating this man, and she hates his sister. She was only made a bridesmaid because of her fiance insisting. They haven't even met. The sister lives in Ecuador with the rest of the family, and they've only ever communicated through text. And yet my best friend still found a way to hate her. She said that the relationship her fiancé had with his sister was weird, that they were too close, and that there weren't enough boundaries set between them. I always thought this was a weird thing to talk about. What boundaries do you need between brother and sister? But I was supportive. I told her she was right, because that's what friends do, right? She knows that I know that she hates this girl. That's why she chose her as the replacement maid of honor. It's not like she doesn't have other friends. One, she's almost as close as she is with me. This is a purely tactical decision. She's done this specifically to hurt me, and to be honest, it's worked. Over the few days, I've really been analyzing our friendship throughout the years, and I've come to some realizations. She's never been a good friend to me, at least not as good a friend as I've been to her. She's never supported me. When I was teased for my weight in school, she would always tell me that I was beautiful, but she would never stick up for me against the people who were saying these mean, awful things. She was friends with them too, but never once spoke in my defense. I've always been lower than her in her eyes. Always. She's never valued me as a friend, and I've always just been a lackey to her. She knew that I would do what she said and would not speak out if she was nasty. I've basically been a doormat the entire time we've been friends. Over 15 years, I've allowed her to bully people and defended her for it. I've cut off other friends because she didn't like them. I've done so many things to make her happy, and she's never done the same, not even once. It's never been an equal friendship. I wish I had realized that sooner, though. A lot of people have seen this post, and I really appreciate everybody, all of you guys, for letting me know that I am not an a-hole in this situation. I think I've been under her thumb for so long that I don't know how to defend myself without feeling like a bad friend anymore. I'll update you guys if she goes on any more rants on her Facebook page. Update number 3. Well, she went on another rant. This one's pretty long, so I won't bother copy and pasting the whole thing. I'll just give you a short rundown of what she said. So, the last post was super shady. She did not mention me or anything, but this time she actually tagged me. It was in the format of an open letter, so she was actually addressing me. Obviously, she could have said all of this in a text, but she's never been one to shy away from attention, and this is apparently the drama of the century for her. For some background, the wedding is in 3 days. She's literally in Ecuador right now with her entire family about to get married, and she still can't stop obsessing over me. She should be having the time of her life, but instead she's blasting me on Facebook for everyone to see. The entire thing was basically a masterclass in playing the victim. She was talking about how much she missed me, how things weren't the same without me anymore, and how she wishes I had not chosen money over her. That's what she's talking about. It's like I decided not to go to save a quick buck, but I'm literally broke. I'm living on ramen noodles and toast. I still haven't found a job, and I can barely put to gas in my car. I have to borrow money from one of my roommates to even pay my rent. But she's making it seem like I made the choice. There was more rambling in the post, about how much it hurt not to have me there, how she'd always dreamt of her big day since she was a kid, and how I was ruining everything for her. The thing is, I'm not even friends with her on Facebook anymore. I unfriended her the minute I saw the post where she was basically calling me a whale. The only reason I know that she posted this time was that a friend from high school sent me a screenshot. She knows I unfriended her too. She sent me a text calling me all sorts of awful curse words after I unfriended her. So she knew that I probably wasn't going to see this post, but she did not care. As long as she gets to play the victim. In the screenshot, I could see that there were 50 comments in the post. I'm hoping that it's all people calling her out on her bullcrap, but hey, I doubt it. I'm kind of glad that I can't read them though. The last post had so many comments and none of them were kind at all. They made me feel awful about myself, and I cried for a week at all the people taking her side. Well, I don't even know what she's hoping to gain from all this, other than making me just feel bad. Clearly, that is her main goal here, but the fact that she's still doing this, even the wedding is just around the corner, is insane. Update number 4, the crazy final update. Hey guys, I have the craziest update ever. I don't think that there was going to be much more to say after the last update, but I decided that even if she continued trying to bash me on Facebook, I would just leave it alone and stop posting. But the bomb dropped. Her husband was cheating on her the entire time, with the sister, who turns out it isn't even his sister. She's a family friend who refers to as a sister, but they've been cheating the entire time. My ex-best friend just walked in on them together before the wedding. The groom and the maid of honor are naked together on the floor. Obviously, the wedding's been called off. I only know this because, for some reason, I'm the person she called as soon as she caught them. She was sobbing on the phone, asking me what she should do. I could barely understand what she was saying, but once I understood clearly, do you know what I did? I hung up the phone. I wasn't about to go back to her just being the moral support after everything she's done to me. I don't know why it came into her head that I would be the right person to call. Maybe she thought that after everything that she said to me and done, I would still be the doormat that she's known for all these years. She thought she could do anything and I would just continue being loyal to her. Well, she's wrong about that. Everything that came after that, I only know about because my sister is close with her cousin, so she gets the gossip firsthand. The wedding was canceled, of course. My ex-best friend flew back to the States immediately, and she's been hiding out in her parents' house ever since. And she's still posting on Facebook. I think that it must be a complex or something at this point. She needs attention the way she needs air. But thankfully, I'm not the focus of her wrath anymore. All the posts now are about what a dirtbag her ex is, how he lied to her, stole money from her, and how he used to hit her and emotionally abuse her too. I don't know how much of that's actually true, but I don't really believe any of it, to be honest. Those two were together for a very long time, and I was her best friend throughout it all. If anyone was abusive, it was her. She would play the victim in any given scenario. I never saw any bruises on her, not once, and every time I saw them together, he was the one who looked miserable, not her. Obviously, I ignored all of this, but out of loyalty to her. But hey, not anymore. It's kind of surreal knowing that everything has come back to bite her in the butt. It feels like the karma is just at work. I never actually believed in all the cosmic stuff, but it really seems like what goes around comes around. At least pertaining to her. Just another quick round of thanks to everybody who gave me their support throughout all of this. It really means a lot to me, more than you will ever know. In other words, I've gotten through the second round of interviews for a job, and it's almost double the salary of my last position. I'm not celebrating yet, as I need to actually get the job first. But it seems like everything is just finally going my way. I'm hoping to get work by the end of the week, as the final interview is tomorrow. It really feels like after everything that I've been through during the past few months, things are really starting to look up for me. What's up, everybody? So I'm not going to say the cheating at the end of this story was karma, But at the same time, I think OP's friend is being very delusional or unrealistic because, hey, if you decide to have a destination wedding, that's totally cool, and that's a pretty cool thing to do, you know, in a foreign country and whatnot, but you can't expect and demand people to be able to go there. Maybe they don't even have a passport. Who knows their financial situation, and you just should not have to say, hey, you have to be there because you're my friend. Well, let me know what you think about this story, how you would go about handling it. Maybe you would have done something different if you were in OP's position. My name's Mr. Reddito. I narrate stories and animate them every single day. If that sounds like something you're into, click that subscribe button. I will see you guys in the next video. Have a fantastic day. Peace.